providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you for being here. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing is a show brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we're here every week, as long as they'll allow us to talk about all things caregiving. And again, we're glad you're here. I'm Terry Stacy, along with Tina McIntosh.
Hi. Oh, hi. Hey.
Hi. And next to her is producer Noah.
Hello,
Noah. Hey, we're going to talk about a nun study.
Like NUN, right?
NUN, like
Yeah.
a study about nuns in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk about Fortnite because...
Oh, I'm sure that hits our
Tina,
target audience right now.
just
I'm sure
real quick.
Everybody listening plays Fortnite. So here's the deal. Fortnite's a game.
Well, wait a minute.
What?
Would you suggest that caregivers perhaps venture into Fortnite?
Well, so here's the deal. This all started because before we came on air, we were talking about the fact that I play Fortnite. And I said, I'm not embarrassed, nor am I proud necessarily. But
She whispered it.
I do.
She was whispering it when she was
I
telling
didn't want y'all to hear. But I do play. I started playing last December with my son because I wanted to do something that he enjoys. And then I really realized that for me, I checked out of everything. Like, I'm not worried about dinner. I'm not worried about the dogs having to go out. I'm not worried about work. Like, I don't care. And I'll just play. And I won't play for hours, although I'm sure I've done that. But I do think you can make fun of it. And I probably would if I were you. What I do think is if we all had something where we could just check out for a few, it centers us differently, kind of resets things.
I agree with you. And look, you're hooked.
I really am. I don't like the new season, but that's a different conversation.
I think it's probably more relatable than you think.
I mean, no
Talking
one
to our
knows what I'm
audience.
I
talking
do.
about.
I can say I am a proud Fortnite player too. I do think that the checking out part is important because it's really, I mean, obviously it's really fun, but hearing that you got to play it with your son and that connection
That's cool.
aspect of it,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Now-
think that's really important.
I like it too.
I want to be very clear that Webster, my son, when this whole thing started, I think he thought it was kind of weird and cool, right? Like they would Snapchat their friends of me playing. I was like, so rude. And then he enjoyed it for a minute. Then he got annoyed because I wasn't very good in the beginning. And now he gets annoyed because I play it on his PC. And that really his personal computer.
Oh, right,
so
right.
that really bugs him. But it's okay, fine. You live in my house. I'm going to play Fortnite.
Yeah, you
love
get
it.
access to the computer.
I think it's a great thing. And I recently bought myself some virtual reality goggles.
Yes.
And I am going places I will never venture to. And again, these are just in 5-minute increments. They're not long.
That's right.
But I love it. And again, it
it's the
takes
same
you away.
concept, right?
It's the same concept, taking you
Now-
away from something.
All right. I do want to give a caution for anybody who's done VR. Have you done VR?
Yeah, I have. I've done it once. and
Virtual reality?
Yeah.
I know you know, but I want to make sure I'm saying
Everybody
the
else
words,
knows,
right?
yes.
Right?
Have you done the one where you go up in the elevator and you step out onto the plank?
Oh, I have not
That is
done
the
that
only
one.
one I've done, and I am
don't.
absolutely terrified of heights. It felt way too real.
Yeah.
It is so real. And do you know people have like injured themselves because when you come out on the VR on the plank, you feel like you're on it. So when you start to fall,
Right.
people have hit the ground.
People really think
people
they're
have
falling.
crashed into their TVs. Like
They've been hurt. There's actually like, now that there's when you check into emergency room, it's already printed on the form,
No.
hurt by gaming.
Are you serious?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I mean, I could probably.
No.
I believe it.
probably
But I bet-
strain my
but I
thumbs
bet.
in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Right. I bet that is become
for
more
sure.
of like pickleball injuries are now really common. And so I'm guessing there's been some injuries
Yeah.
enough.
I should probably play
With virtual
pickleball
reality.
more than I play Fortnite. But anyway,
It's super fun.
Let's talk about NUNs.
The nuns?
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to talk about it? Who wants to bring up the study?
I mean, Noah brought it to our attention. It's this overview, this nun study that was originally launched in 1986 by Dr. David Snowden. And he was exploring, I believe, aging and cognitive resilience. And he involved the school sisters of Notre Dame. So right in our state.
Right.
So a group of Catholic nuns who were dedicated to education and service. And so these nuns agreed to donate their brains for research.
Wow.
And that would allow then for him and others to study, insights into brain health and aging. And so there's this focus on lifelong learning that comes with it. And there were a few key findings to it. I don't know if you want to share the key findings.
Yeah, I would love to. So I think there were some really interesting things that Dr. Snowden found. First one is the higher education levels correlate with greater cognitive resilience, allowing some nuns to show almost no symptoms despite having brain disease.
That's amazing.
That is really
amazing.
That is amazing.
And again, do we know the ages of the nuns when they passed?
They were
Did they have good
between
long
2
lives?
and 102.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very wide range.
Nailed it.
One of the other key findings was that strong social bonds and emotional well-being contribute to better cognitive health, with nuns engaging in community activities. I think we at Caregiver Crossing kind of know this, but it is really important that it's shown in these findings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this takes me right to Sister Act.
Well, I believe that they donated their brains when the actors were done.
It was
That's
so
not
good.
True.
It is not true.
No.
Many are still alive.
No,
Nobody's here.
But let's transfer this to what it means for caregivers. And so it means that caregivers have to prioritize our own mental, social, and physical health. So that is take up a new hobby. It might be VR. It might be pickleball. It might be,
Fortnite.
Could be Fortnite.
I mean, whatever it is, or participate in book clubs or something to stimulate the brain. Join community groups and volunteer and participate in social gatherings. I know, y'all, that's not easy to do. Sometimes it's just easier to, can I say, not put on a bra and like stay at home with a cup of tea? Am I allowed to say that?
Sure you can. And
Because I just did.
well,
But
yeah.
you
Okay,
did.
say it
But
again.
it's true. Like you just want to stay in your PJs and not have to shower and just hole up in your house.
That's okay.
Those days are important. You can't do it every day. You've got to get out. You have to have a social network. And so, and then you aim for at least, this is where I feel like I'm always lecturing myself, 30 minutes of physical activity most days. That can be walking. That can be dancing. That can be yoga. Do you guys ever dance by yourselves at home?
No.
I love to dance
By
by
yourself?
myself. I will
home?
all the time.
In the mirror?
I'll put headphones in, turn them on as loud as possible, and just dance a little bit in the mirror.
I love that.
It's so much
Do you
fun.
have good moves?
No.
Yeah.
They're absolutely
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, I feel that pain. Like there are times I get off of like a really serious meeting when I'm at home, and I just in my head I break it down like Elaine on Seinfeld, if anybody's familiar. Yeah. And I have a gigantic mirror, and I catch myself and think it's a good thing nobody else is here. But there's something it does for me. Like it's not
It's the
30
movement.
minutes,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
like I get it out, like I'm bursting. Anyway, and then practice mindfulness and reflection. Those are really important things to do. I know we're going to have to take a break, but we will be back. We have got, can I say the most special guest today?
You can.
The most special guest today. So please stick around. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Can't wait. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing. This is a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing. It's brought to you by, or brought to you as a service of, Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates, with locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus too. Joy's House provides exceptional day service for individual living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support too for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joy's House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their very best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by using or visiting joyshouse.org, and do that today. That web address again is joyshouse.org. All right, everybody, stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after this. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. We're your hosts. My name is Terry Stacy. To my right is
Tina McIntosh.
Next to her is
Noah Taylor.
And we have a very handsome, wonderful human being in studio with us. In just a moment, we're going to talk to him. Not almost said interview him, but we will in a sense.
Yeah.
You'll get to know him better. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us here on Caregiver Crossing. We are excited to welcome Richard Brennan. Richard Brennan is a passionate advocate for living authentically and with purpose. And he played a key role in helping Joy's House host one of their very own Death Café events that you've heard Noah talk about in the last couple of weeks, creating a really compassionate space for guests and caregivers to reflect on the inevitability of death and its impact on how we live. He's warm, he's insightful, he has a deep understanding, and he's inspired a whole bunch of people to embrace life more fully by considering the profound conversations around death. Even when I say it, I feel like I need to lower my voice and soften it a bit.
Death. Because you said
say
death?
the word death. It's such a hard word. It's such a difficult word.
Yeah.
Why is it so easy for you to be able to talk about death?
Probably because this is my 21st year as a hospice chaplain. So I've been around death a lot. And I think because of technology and podcasting and things like Death Café, which actually got its start in France, and now it's international, we're bringing death out of the closet. Used to be years ago, mediumship was in the closet. But now there's Hollywood celebrities and mediums have their own TV shows and things. Death is still something that people are hesitant to talk about. And so one of my passions has always been, even when I wasn't working hospice, is to demystify death. That actually death is a friend. It's not an enemy. But people still have that. Yeah, so I was thrilled here at Joy's house, and with the weather, Abby and I thought, yeah, we might have 8 or 9. That'll be cool. And we had 30 people show up.
Wow.
And the conversation was amazing. People wanted to talk about it.
All
was beautiful.
ages, too.
All ages. Oh, yes, all ages.
Oh, now that's interesting. All ages.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the mediumship and how that got its place. When you think about mediumship, though, it's also about life after death.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. It's just like the end of life, the end of this life as we know it. I think that's why it's really hard for people, too.
Yeah, yeah.
For those of us who have a faith of a heaven or some kind of an afterlife, depending on what your faith is.
Right.
I don't know. There's something that you're looking forward to, but I know for a lot of people, I just don't know. And it feels very final to them.
It's the not knowing, I think, that scares people. Oftentimes, hospice workers have been called midwives to the mystery. And I've always loved that because, I haven't died yet. I had Anita Morjani on my radio show, and we talked about her book, Dying to Be Me, and I have a quote from her, maybe I'll share later. But she crossed over, had an amazing experience, came back. There was witnesses of that because she died on the operating table. I haven't had that experience. So my view is based on my faith. I believe there is a heaven, and that helps me. But yeah, I think a lot of people, it's just, it comes across scary, right? Mm-hmm. The color black. Like I collect skulls.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, and I've met Joy's house skeleton.
Yeah, you did. Harry.
Skulls of real things.
Yeah, I better clarify.
Before?
Terry, I better clarify that. No, it's not. I didn't dig up people and all this. Like little ceramic things you get on Amazon. Oh. I was going to bring my cane in here because I have a skull on top of my cane. I collected that.
That's awesome.
And I have heads of skulls that are made out of not real material.
I have them in many places. So what is it for you? Because I know what it is for me.
Well, for me, it's the whole memento mori. Remember your death. I even tattooed it on my arm. I've got tattoos. And this one is memento mori et carpe diem. So remember you're going to die, so seize the day.
Yes.
And it's that beautiful reminder. And a lot of Buddhist monks back in the day, some Christian monks back in the day also would have a skull on their desk, a human skull, because they could do that back then. But it would remind them that will be me someday.
That's why I love them.
I do
we
too.
all have a skull.
Absolutely.
But then is that kind of unnerving?
No. So here's my thing. We all have a skull, and one day you'll be dead. So live your life. It's very much what you have tattooed.
That back part of it. So live your life.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
Or for me, embrace the imbalance. I love that you said that. I've never met anybody else who's said that. I love skulls, and here's why.
Well, have the both of you had experience where you've had a friend or a family member much younger than you pass away?
Yes.
Well, what was that like for you, Terry?
I felt like that their life had been cut short.
Okay.
That not that to judge, why that decision was made. Because I'm like so many, I believe that there's a plan for us, and there's a reason when we go at an age that it's unexpected.
Yeah.
So it was a little shocking.
But was there a part of you that then took a look at yourself and said,
yes.
wow, they're gone. I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
that first realization of mortality, I think for many of us is losing a grandparent. Mm-hmm. And that is the first time for me to have thought, oh, we're not here forever.
Right.
To really realize it, not just, they weren't just words. And I think for many that lose a grandparent first, usually in their life, it's a realization.
Well, when I teach on this, Art of Living in Light of Death, that's what I've called the message, and I've done workshops on that. Here's what I say. I say, love calls you. Love calls you to make death your constant companion. Because the awareness of death helps you heal old wounds, refines your purpose, and helps you lead a fearless and authentic life. And then you start breaking those sections down, because that's really what it does. I remember a couple of years ago now, I did 3 or 4 workshops with a dear friend of mine, Janice Jaffe, who was a well-known jazz singer, sound healer, lived down in Bloomington. And we would do these workshops on Art of Living and Dying, we called them. Well, I knew she was going to have surgery up here. There was something going on with her heart, but it wasn't going to be serious. And we were texting 2 days before the surgery. And she said, my kids will be up here. They say it'll probably be a day or so of recovery. Before I go down to Bloomington, why don't you come up here? We were planning another workshop. So the surgery was happening, and a lot of people kind of knew when that was, sending out prayers. And then maybe a couple of hours later, I got on the email list and Facebook message list that said Janice died in recovery. She was 63. Didn't see it coming. And it rocked the whole community of Bloomington, but also me. And once again, because I've been doing this for so long, it said, why her and not me? And it's like, really? I've learned now as a discipline to stop a little bit and reflect on these things and say, it just reminds me of the finality of things. And so that's what I've done for quite a few years now. I've learned a lot of it from my Buddhist friends, because they have death meditation they talk about. But I kind of stumbled into hospice many years ago, but I knew that the more I was working with these patients of a variety of ages, and we're now seeing people much younger on hospice now in their 40s, a lot of that. It just, to me, death is a wake-up call for life. It reminds us that we don't have forever. That truly what it's really all about is to love now, to be present now, to reach out to the person you've been thinking about calling now. And I think those listening probably have their own stories if they're thinking about that. Because we do kind of unconsciously think we are going to live forever. That's why people don't want to talk about death. Yeah. But I've learned that by doing that, it actually helps me live more fearlessly and fully. Because all I know is right now, I'm with the two of you in this studio. That's all I know. There's no guarantee I'll make it on the way home. But I'm here now.
Right.
But it was death that did that.
I agree entirely about all of that. So when we come back, you mentioned you have some stories.
Yes.
We'd like to hear some of those.
Absolutely.
All right.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Oh, you guys, you should have been here for the break. It got weird. Welcome back. We're here on Caregiver Crossing. We are your hosts, Terry Stacy, and I'm Tina McIntosh. We are here with Noah, our producer, who is wonderful, and he brought us such a fantastic guest today. If you were with us last segment, you're already in love with him. We are to Richard Brendan, who is a speaker, a mentor, a producer, and talks about things that are typically hard for a lot of us. Mm-hmm. And that's death. Mm-hmm. It really comes down to death and how we live up into that point. And Richard, you mentioned that you had some stories.
Yeah.
And we would love to hear those.
I have a couple that I brought with me. One, because I still miss this person. She was a dear friend of mine. And this is radio, so you can't see the photo of her and I at the time.
Beautiful lady.
And so here's what I wrote. Remembering my friend Lisa Morrison. who passed away on January 24th, 2016. This photo was taken on February 12th, 2015. Lisa was serving as senior producer for my radio show. I was honored by that because years earlier, she had a very successful radio career at WTTS and with her syndicated Roots Diner radio show. She lived fully, loved well, and had a servant's heart for humanity. Lisa never squandered her life. May we all awaken to the precious mystery of life while we have breath. Death will arrive soon enough. By the way, at 46, she died in a car wreck. That's what happened. So I always had a quote. This happens to be a Zen night chant. It says, "Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly, and opportunity is lost. So let us awaken. Awaken. Do not squander your life." Amen. Another one was a dear lady. I'll just read it as I wrote it. Earlier today, I had the honor of officiating the funeral of an 87-year-old woman who made her transition on October 27th. For almost a year, I would visit with her, often holding her hand and reading poetry to her. And when I would sing to her, she would laugh and try to sing along with me. My attempt at the Sinatra song, "Fly Me to the Moon," was her favorite. She was unable to speak, but her smile and her eyes said everything. She's flying now, and perhaps she's dancing with Sinatra. The following words from John O'Donohue really touched my heart. Donohue writes, "We should not allow ourselves to settle for being awkward and unsure around a deathbed. There is vital and beautiful work to be done there. When you realize the dying person needs and depends on your words and presence, it takes the focus off your limitation and frees you to become a creative companion on the new journey. One of the most beautiful gifts you could ever give is the gift of helping someone to die with dignity, graciousness, and serenity." And so these are the kind of things that I've had the honor of learning. I have learned more about life, about love, relationships, not from guests that I've interviewed before or workshops I've attended or Oprah TV shows. It's the hospice patients. Mm-hmm. Because when you know you're dying, something happens, and there's been psychological studies on this. All of a sudden, once you work through the fear and work through the anger, it gives you permission to finally say the things you've always wanted to say or do the things you've always wanted to do. And I love that. And so what I've learned is by meditating on death, I mean, I haven't been pronounced terminal, although we all are. None of us get out of here alive. But by meditating on it, I'm kind of like rewiring my brain a little bit. And it helps me be more present in whoever I'm with. And it makes me realize that it's a gift. God has blessed me with this day. This day I have, and that's all I know that I have. So I want to live it to the fullest, which is why I showed you guys earlier. I have some tattoos, and most of them have meaning for me, but the last one are words. I've never had words on my arm, but because I'm a slow learner, I wanted to be able to look at it every day, and I thought I'd class it up by Latin, you know? Yeah. So it says, "Memento mori et carpe diem." Remember you're going to die, so seize the day. And actually in the Catholic Church, there's a young nun that is the founder of a worldwide movement called Memento Mori. She's taking that message out everywhere too. But I find that it's really changed my life for the better. It's healed me of some things. It's helped me to live more fearlessly. And it's these precious people who are entrusted into our care and into my care as a chaplain that have taught me the most, because they're telling me, wow, here's what I would have done different. Wow, here's what I learned about love. And it's like a Tuesdays with Maury thing, only I get a lot of days with these precious people. And I write those things down when I go home.
You know, you're making me remember those type of memories that I have, or stories that I have of thinking about of death. It's even hard for me to still say, but I've for a long time worked with the Indiana Children's Wish Fund, and the little children that have been given a pretty scary diagnosis, life-threatening illnesses that they're battling. They have been the bravest people I've ever known, because they live every moment knowing that the words, knowing that their end may be near, and they're fearless. And they are, as you're making me think about that, about who those those people are and those children and what they face and how some of them are gone but lived every second that they had, knowing that maybe this is it for them, and lived like a kid. We should maybe all live like a kid again.
There's that song, right? That live like you were like
Live Like You're Dying.
And it's so
Tim McGraw.
true.
Won a
so
Grammy
true.
for that. It hit home to me also personally because I have grandkids, and my 3-year-old granddaughter Sloan, who's a fierce little thing now, and I think the reason she is because at 10 months old she was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. And she had to have 24 weeks of chemo. She had to have 2 surgeries. They were thinking she might even need radiation. And there were some moments when we didn't know she would live or not. And so on a couple of different times, I would volunteer then to be with my daughter to take her to Riley. God bless the people at Riley.
Yeah.
I could never do that work, seeing all those kids. But she's healed. The cancer has not come back. But those are the kind of things that stop you in your tracks. And I would even ask or tell our listeners, if you take a chance, think about those things in your own life. And instead of just say, oh, that's a shame or whatever, just sit with it for a while, right?
Yeah.
And try to learn from that, because you realize that everything is a gift. We don't know what's going to happen to us. That quote I read a few minutes ago from John O'Donohue, he's still one of my favorite writers. The last book he wrote was called Bless the Space Between Us, and he was on a book tour for that. And while he was on tour, he died in his sleep at 53 with a brain aneurysm. And he had a full physical 6 months before.
You just don't know what
We
God's
don't know.
plan is.
That's right.
You just don't know.
That's
but
right.
we all have an expiration date.
Absolutely.
Well, and it goes back to that whole Tuesdays with
Yeah.
Maury. If you haven't read that book by Mitch Albom,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a must read. It will change your life and the way you live it.
Yeah.
Richard, we are so honored to have you here. Love the work you're doing. We didn't talk a lot about the Death Cafes, but we will be announcing those as there are more, whether you do them or we get to do them through Joy's House with you.
Yeah.
Just grateful for you, and you change lives every day, and you've changed
Oh my
ours
gosh,
today.
just by listening to you for the time
Yeah.
we've had with you, truly.
Yeah,
an
you're
amazing-
wonderful. If people are trying to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
And probably the best way is go to my website, richardbrendan.com, or everybody has my number, because I've had the same number all these years, 317-796-1897.
All right, I will get that later, but we'll also we'll link that into our Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Bless
You're
you.
listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Stay put. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Joining me today are your co-hosts.
Who are you?
I'm the producer. I'm Noah Taylor. I'm not a co-host.
But Noah keeps us in line with
I try.
everything.
Takes care of everything.
Well, I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy.
Hello.
Hi.
So, for our last segment today, we have some questionnaires from our listeners. Some questions
Mailbag,
from our
mailbag.
listeners. Mailbag.
I like when you do that.
Thank you.
Can you do it
Yeah.
again
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more
yeah.
time?
Mailbag, mailbag.
Oh, okay.
Let's just let everybody know you can get your questions answered too. And you do that by sending Tina Bina a question.
Absolutely.
Email
Okay.
me,
Yes.
tina@joyshouse.org.
Yeah, please.
Tina.
Wherever you are. I'd like to hear from y'all in Illinois. How you're enjoying the show.
Oh, yeah.
What topics are important to you. Send it to Tina.
Tina@joyshouse.org.
Yep.
What do we have in the mailbag today?
Well, first up, we have a question from a listener named Kara. She wants to know, what are some engaging activities I can do with my loved one to keep them mentally and physically active?
Horseback riding.
Sounds fun to me.
Engaging activities that you can do with your loved one to keep them physically and mentally, active? All right, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to say something here. Ready?
Ready.
Don't do everything for them. I know that's not an activity, like a planned activity, but stop doing everything for your loved one. Oh, you want that? Terry was eating Ricola earlier. You want that? Let me open that for you, Terry.
Right.
Oh, no, wait, you dropped that on the floor. Let me pick it up for you.
Right.
You want the blinds open? Let me open that for you. Stop doing everything. If your loved one can still do some of these things, let them do it. it's good for them. The dexterity to open, wrappers and to place
good.
things on a counter. It's really important that we let them continue doing things. I actually recently, my mother-in-law lives with us, and she is the sweetest woman you're ever going to meet. She is now, I think, 76. Everybody wants to do everything for her. And we go to softball games. And so she and I will ride together in softball games. And, everybody, they see us getting in the back, and she's not frail and elderly. I mean, she's an active 78-year-old woman. Oh, let me carry that for you, Nana. Let me get that for you.
It's insulting.
I said to her,
I think it might be insulting for some. It would be insulting for me as I get older. People try to do things for me too. I mean, I'm there. Can I carry this for you? Let me help you carry this. A lot of that comes around, and it's. I know you mean well, but I'm okay.
But what if we switch it to this? Hey, Nana, if you need any help carrying that chair, let me know.
Good.
And that's what I told her. I'm not going to just do everything for you, because then you will stop doing it and we will see a decline.
That's it.
Right?
That's
so
it.
I know that's a little bit of a different twist, Kara, on the answer to your question, but I think we are so prone to do all the things for other people and just encourage them.
I think that's
Yeah.
a fantastic answer.
Yeah,
Including bending over.
Oh, yeah.
You drop something, you bend over to pick it up. That's going to tell a whole story. If I'm wobbly when I bend over, you're going to know my balance is off, or I'm getting dizzy or whatever. So,
But if you want to do, like the mentally and the mentally things, and you want to be a part of that, I think she wants to be a part of that too. I mean, maybe that's puzzles. Maybe
Oh, my goodness,
just
so
come
much-
and do these fun things like that.
It's helping set the table for dinner.
Right.
It's letting the dogs out. It's, doing the everyday things are really, really important. So, all right.
mentally and physically.
Mailbag.
And
Next.
our next question is from a listener named Nancy. She'd like to know, what are some tips for making my home safer for my loved one who has mobility issues or is maybe a fall risk?
Making your home safer for a loved one who has some kind of a mobility issue or might be a fall risk. So there are some basic ones we hear all the time. What do you think the first thing that people always say is?
It's remove rugs.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Take the rugs away.
Yep.
No rugs.
Now, we all, you've heard it 1,000 times, remove the rugs. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever had a mobility issue, remember I shattered my ankle and had surgery?
Oh, yeah.
Tripped on a stupid rug. I tripped on a stupid rug. Because why? I didn't remove the rug.
Well,
So that is important. Also, I would say lighting is a huge thing. If we can't see, that causes problems. But it's lighting where you place it. Nowadays, you can get those that, are battery operated and you stick on a wall. So you can't use the excuse of I don't have power run to that area.
True.
The stairs are super important. If nothing else, light at the top and the bottom of the stairs. The bathroom, because we're all getting up. Maybe a little light in the bedroom or the hallway. So lighting up the house is really, really important too. This isn't necessarily making it more accessible, but I highly recommend alarm systems. You all sleep better when you can put an alarm system on, and whether it's motion
right.
detected or it's just the doors opening, helps give us some peace. Of course, the grab bars, the stair lifts. Don't play in them. They're not toys, although they look fun.
they sure do. They do.
Ramps, but it's other things too. Like if you have a dresser and it's too high for your loved one, maybe who now uses a wheelchair, lower the dresser. Get a lower dresser. Make sure that they can tell you what they can and can't reach too. If they're able to tell you, use their voice and listen to them. So does that help?
I think that's
Yeah,
incredible. Thank you, listeners, for asking these questions again. Our next question is from a listener named Ruby. She would like to know, how can I help my loved one deal with their own emotions about needing care?
Okay. I'm going to go back to last week's show. We had Dr. Monique Nugent on, a hospitalist out of Boston. And we asked the question about how doctors could learn more about the patients. And we had a conversation about listening. I said, is it as simple as them being able to take the time to listen? And she said, listen and believe them. And that has stuck with me. So talk with them. Don't be afraid to talk with them. I'm going through this with somebody in my life right now, and we're talking about, do you fight the disease that you've just been given a diagnosis for, or do you let it take over and you succumb to it? There's not a wrong answer. But what do I want for this person? I want this person to fight, right? Work out and fight through this diagnosis and take all the meds. And if this person doesn't want to do that, but instead just says, no, I think I'm just done. I can't project what it is that I want. And so I think it's really important that we have conversations. We're not afraid to have them, and we listen and believe them. All right, last one. I know we have to go after
All
that.
right, we've got one more question from our listener. How can I stay organized with my loved one's medical appointments and medication schedule?
Oh, I can answer that in 8 seconds.
Yep.
Get a therapist? No, I'm kidding. Go to visitcaregiverway.org. We've got forms on there that can help you to keep everything organized. Visit caregiverway.org. It is a Joy's House service. Or email me, again, tina@joyshouse.org, and I can connect you. Before we go, I'll just take over. I mean, talking a lot, but we do want to thank our friends at Cardon and Associates. They have over 20 communities owned, operated, and managed in the Midwest with over 40 years of senior living experience. And they provide residents with the best senior living options and personalized care. Cardon and Associates. Well, until next week, we are Caregiver Crossing. We love you guys. Until next time, take good care of each other.